Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I made an entire playable game in only 5 days, and here's how. Why are you doing this, you may ask? Well, basically, ever since my last video, I have been suffering from game developers' worst nightmare, creative block. I have been contemplating a lot about the next project I want to dive into, looking at numerous videos for inspiration. I even reached out to a few close friends for advice, and that didn't go so well. Because of that, my only option left was to dive into the realm of game jams. For those who don't know, a game jam is a competition where developers like me take something that's already difficult, like developing a game, and make it 10 times harder by only giving ourselves a small time frame to do so. I scrolled through the itch.io list of game jams when my eyes laid on one particular jam. Being that this is my first game jam, this specific game jam stood out to me because the artwork looked like it was specifically made for noobs. Why joining? Boring and repetitive. Yep, perfect. That's all I need to read.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
After looking at the community chat, I found a fellow noob looking for a team that specifically does art and music. He literally does everything I'm especially bad at, so I made sure to give him an offer he couldn't resist. Actually, it seemed like he could resist. Now, some of you may be asking, well, Etham, it says the game jam is ending in 7 days, but your title only says you made the game in 5. Well, that's because I can't count. No, all jokes aside, the reason is because I only actually have 5 days for the game jam. Today is Monday, and on Friday, I'm leaving from Northern California on a 6-hour road trip down to Southern California for business ventures. The game jam's theme is stuck, so without any more time wasted, let's get to developing. For this jam, instead of using an engine, I opted to go the traditional route using the game framework Raylib. If you watched my last video, you would know I have a decent amount of experience using Raylib to make games. First, we start off, as always, by compiling Raylib with C++ and Visual Studio Code to make a playable app. After searching up Stuck on Google for some ideas, I saw a picture of a person trapped in a glass jar. I immediately had the idea of having a fly that's trapped in the jar that is trying to escape. The first day basically consisted of mostly making the sprites, since the artwork will probably be the most difficult aspect of the game jam for me. To get a general feel of how I'd want the game to look, to reference throughout the project, I decided to sketch my ideas of the sprites first. After finishing the sketches, I went to turn my drawings to pixel art. I used LibreSprite, which is basically the free version of Sprite, to make the artwork. To really capture the animation of the fly flying, I looked at some videos of flies in slow motion for reference. After that, I implemented the sprite into the game with the animation and created a 2D camera system to follow the player. After day 1, I had prototypes for different sprites I'll have in the game and even animations for the fly, but there's still a lot of work to be done. For day 2, I wanted to focus more on gameplay now that I had a rough draft of the artwork for a few sprites. Since the main character in this game flies similar to the last game I made, check out the video above to see my process of making that, I just joined the same movement system. However, copying and pasting didn't immediately work, with there being some minor bugs. After fixing that, I worked on a 2D camera system that tracked the fly's position. Now that the camera and movement system were done, it was time to work on the core gameplay. This involves all the enemies, the frog, the fly swatter, and the spider, making sure they can actually attack the player. The idea I came up with for their attacks are that the fly swatter rotates in a swinging motion similar to a real fly swatter. The frog has a tongue that extends outwards, and lastly, the spider always rotates towards the player's location and shoots spiderwebs at them. The player has to try their best to avoid being hit by all these attacks. With that being said, let's get into finalizing the enemies. Now that is finished, before working on collisions and the game loop system, I decided to take a step back. At this point, I need a main menu and a play button to let players replay the game after they lose. With that being done, I'm finished with my work for day 2. Overall, it was a very productive day, and I was able to get majority of the game done. If you've been paying attention, you notice that something's been off. For the enemies, all of the collisions work except for the fly swatter. Instead of making the collision from the center of the fly swatter like I did the spiderwebs, the fly swatter is a little bit more complicated. I have to make the collision be from the top of the texture depending on its rotation, which is always changing. For those who know, this will require some calculations, calculating the sine and cosine of the rotation and converting it using pi. In the end, I ended up finding the cosine and sine of the rotation, which signifies the direction of the x and y in radians. Then I multiplied it by the height of the fly swatter. With all of the enemy attacks done, and my brain hurting from all that math, I decided to just spend the rest of the day working on aligning the sprites with the wall. I woke up on day 4 motivated. I knew that I got majority of the difficult aspects of the game out of the way. All that was left was making the round system and submitting the game to the game jam. I opened up old reliable Photoshop and got straight to work. If I had more time to make a polished game, I would have drawn a background of a living room to show that the fly was captured in the house. But since I don't have time for that, I took the lazy way out and drew a beige background instead. On the main screen, I also have text that displays your high score, and during the game it also shows what round you are currently on. I finished the front page for the game, and with that being done, I submitted the game to the Game Jam.
Alright, bro, trapped.
Alright, this was for a Game Jam. Made it in like 5 days.
The Game Jam, is that like a competition or something?
Yeah, basically.
Is there no way to full screen?
Not for this game, cause like I just didn't want to bug it.
Alright, bro.
It's
Are
just
they
like
random?
it's infinite. Yeah, it's randomized. You gotta try to survive as long as you can. Okay. Oh, bro, why do you keep hugging? Why do you keep hugging?
Bro, it just snipes me.
Yeah, they aim at you. You just gotta hope there's.
Bro, you did some.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about the bottom. I forgot about the bottom border. Oh my gosh. Overall, I enjoyed participating in my first Game Jam. The time constraint forced me to focus on the important aspects of the game. With more time, I definitely could have added more features and tweaked the game a little bit better, but overall, I'm happy with my result. I've included the itch.io page for the game in the description, as well as the source code. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and with that, I'll see you guys in my next video.